What if I told you that rest isn't a sign of weakness, but actually a powerful strategy to maximize your performance? In a world where hustle and grind are often glorified, it's easy to believe that the more you work, the better you'll perform. But the truth is, the highest performers, whether they're athletes, CEOs, or top creators, don't just push harder, they rest smarter. Look closely at the habits of people who achieve extraordinary results. What sets them apart isn't just their work ethic, but how they use rest to fuel their success. They don't just take breaks to recover, they use rest as a strategic tool. While most of us see rest as something we do when we're exhausted, high achievers see it as an investment, a way to restore and multiply their energy, focus, and creativity. Strategic rest isn't just about sleeping more or taking time off. It's about timing, quality, and intent. When done right, it doesn't just restore your energy, it amplifies it. You don't return from strategic rest feeling tired and sluggish. You come back feeling more focused, more energized, and more capable than before. The difference between resting strategically and simply resting is this: one fuels your performance and helps you perform at your highest level, while the other just helps you recover enough to get by. Think of rest as the ultimate performance enhancer. When you use it right, it becomes a secret weapon. So, what if you started seeing rest differently? What if you treated it not as an obstacle to productivity, but as a powerful tool to supercharge your performance? Chapter 1. Why you feel tired even after 8 hours of sleep. Have you ever wondered why, after sleeping for 8 hours, you still feel like you haven't rested enough? It's not about the quantity of sleep, but the quality. Why does the fatigue linger, as if those hours spent in bed did nothing at all? The answer lies in your sleep cycle. Sleep isn't just a race to hit 8 hours on the clock. It occurs in 90-minute cycles, shifting between light, deep, and REM sleep, the stage where dreams happen. Each of these stages serves a specific purpose: restoring your body, clearing your mind, recharging your energy. But what happens if you wake up in the middle of one of those cycles? It's like having a restless night. Has that ever happened to you? What if I told you that the factors around you, the temperature, light, noise, are more influential than you realize on the quality of your sleep? They have the power to disrupt these vital cycles. Did you know a calm environment can make the difference between waking up refreshed or dragging yourself out of bed? Now, think for a moment. Have your bedtime and wake-up times been consistent? What would happen if you started syncing your schedule with your body's natural rhythms? It might be simpler than you think, and the difference will show in your energy, productivity, and even your mood. Have you been ignoring these signals? And if you could do something as simple as adjusting your sleep habits, how could that transform your everyday life? Chapter 2. The secret of 13%. And imagine this: you're in the middle of a task, your mind is racing, and you've been focused for hours. You're getting things done, but at what cost? Ever felt like your brain is running on empty, even though you've barely moved from your desk? Here's a question: what if the answer isn't working harder or longer, but taking a simple 30-second break? That's right, just 30 seconds. Micro pauses like these can increase your focus by 13% and reduce mental fatigue. Does that sound too simple to be true? What if I told you that these small breaks aren't distractions, but powerful tools for enhancing your productivity? It's not about stopping what you're doing and coming back to it later. It's about fully disconnecting, even if just for a moment. In those 30 seconds, your brain gets the opportunity to reset, to recharge. It's like pressing a refresh button. Without it, you're pushing your mind to keep going until it burns out. Think about your day. How many times do you power through a task, ignoring the signs that your brain needs a quick rest? How many times do you push on, thinking you'll finish faster, only to realize you're more drained than when you started? The secret is in the pause. It's not about continuing the mental task, but about stepping away for just a bit. A few seconds of disconnection can restore your cognitive energy, and suddenly, you're back, sharper and more efficient. Have you tried it? How could these tiny breaks change the way you work, the way you think, and ultimately, the way you perform? Chapter 3. The reset button for your brain. What if I told you that your brain has its own natural rhythm, almost like an internal clock, that dictates when you're sharp and when you're not? These rhythms are called ultradian cycles, and they dictate your periods of high and low concentration throughout the day. The problem is, we often ignore them. How many times have you tried to push through when your focus is fading, thinking you can will yourself to keep going? Here's the thing: when you work against your brain's natural rhythms, you're setting yourself up for exhaustion. Your mind is telling you it's time for a break, but you push forward, ignoring the signals. It's like trying to run on an empty tank, it's not going to end well. But when you work with these rhythms, that's when you unlock your true potential. Imagine working in sync with your brain's natural ebb and flow, making the most of your high concentration periods and taking breaks when your mind needs to recharge. You'll be amazed at how much more productive, focused, and energized you'll feel. During the low concentration periods, it's not just about taking any break, it's about taking an active pause. Do something that engages your body, stretch, take a short walk, even a few minutes of deep breathing. These active pauses don't just give your mind a rest, they actively restore your energy. Micro pauses like these can increase your SO. The question is, are you listening to your brain? Are you honoring its natural rhythm? Or are you pushing against it, only to burn out? What would it feel like to operate in harmony with your body's cycles, allowing yourself to recharge when needed and come back more focused and productive than ever? Chapter 4. The 7 Dimensions of Strategic Rest. When you hear the word rest, what comes to mind? Most people think of sleep, but what if I told you that true recovery goes far beyond simply getting a good night's sleep? What if I told you that there are 7 types of rest, and each one plays a crucial role in how you recover, recharge, and perform? You see, rest isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. There's physical rest, the kind that rejuvenates your body. Then there's mental rest, the kind that clears your mind after a long day of thinking, problem solving, and decision making. But it doesn't stop there. There's sensory rest, which gives your senses a break from the constant bombardment of noise, light, and technology. Have you ever considered emotional rest? It's the kind of rest that helps you process your feelings, release stress, and stop carrying emotional weight around. And what about social rest? Yes, even your social interactions require a break sometimes. Being constantly on in social situations can drain your energy, and taking time to recharge in solitude can be just as important as physical rest. Then there's creative rest, which helps you tap back into your creative flow and inspiration. How often have you felt creatively stuck, only to find that a change of scenery or a little downtime unlocks your imagination again? Finally, there's spiritual rest, the kind that connects you to a sense of purpose, to something bigger than yourself. What if I asked you to pause for a moment and reflect? Which of these types of rest do you need most right now? Could it be that you've been neglecting a certain dimension of rest, and it's affecting your performance, your mood, or your energy levels? Identifying the specific type of rest your body and mind need can drastically improve your recovery. What if you could actively restore each dimension of your well-being, instead of just focusing on sleep? What would your life look like if you learned to balance all 7 types of rest? How much more energized, focused, and creative would you feel? Chapter 5. The Active Recovery of Elite Athletes. Have you ever wondered why elite athletes seem to perform at their peak, time and time again, despite pushing their bodies to the limit? You might assume that it's all about training harder and longer, but here's the secret: they train less. That's right, they focus more on recovery than on continuous exertion. You might assume that it's all about training. Elite athletes understand that rest is where the magic happens, but not just any kind of rest. Active recovery. This means engaging in low-impact activities that help restore energy, rather than just lying around waiting for the body to bounce back. Yoga, walking, swimming, or even stretching, these are the types of activities they incorporate into their routines to ensure their bodies recover properly. So, what if I told you that you could achieve the same level of recovery by swapping out intense, exhausting exercises for gentler, restorative practices? Think about it. When was the last time you gave your body a true break from strenuous activity, but still kept moving in a way that restored your energy? Could your current routine be leaving you more drained than refreshed? Here's the key. It's not about pushing through fatigue with more hard work. It's about replacing exhausting, high-intensity activities with those that restore and recharge you. By incorporating practices that support recovery, you're actually setting yourself up for greater performance in the long run. Imagine how much more resilient your body would be if you embraced active recovery into your routine. Instead of feeling depleted after a long week of intense workouts, you could feel rejuvenated, ready to take on the next challenge with a clear mind and a body that's primed for success. So, what would it look like if you swapped out a couple of your high-intensity sessions for restorative practices? Could it be the missing ingredient for unlocking your best performance yet? Chapter 6. Protecting the flow state. Have you ever experienced that magical feeling of being in the zone, where time seems to disappear? Your focus is razor sharp, and creativity flows effortlessly. That's the state of flow, the ultimate state of productivity and performance. But here's the catch. The flow state is limited. It's fragile, and it needs protection if you want to maintain it for longer periods. Think about it. Once you're in the flow, the last thing you want is an interruption. But what if I told you that the secret to extending your time in flow isn't to push harder or fight through fatigue? What if I told you that it's about strategic pauses? Micro pauses, just 30 seconds to 2 minutes, can be the game changer. These brief moments of rest allow your mind to recharge without breaking your focus. Imagine just stepping away for a brief second to stretch, take a deep breath, or step outside for a quick walk. This isn't a distraction. It's a necessary reset. By incorporating these small pauses, you're not losing momentum. You're preserving it. You're safeguarding your cognitive energy, maintaining your concentration, and protecting that precious flow state. It's like keeping a fire burning by adding small, consistent logs rather than letting it die out and having to reignite it from scratch. What would it feel like to sustain your flow for hours, rather than having it fizzle out after a short burst of creativity? Imagine being able to increase both the productivity and longevity of your flow state by simply allowing yourself to step back, even for a minute. It's not about abandoning your task. It's about nurturing your focus in a way that ensures you stay sharp and energized for longer. So, next time you're deep in the zone, don't let your concentration slip away. Protect it. Take a 30-second pause, a quick reset, and watch your focus stay locked in, your creativity keep flowing, and your productivity soar. Could these tiny breaks be the key to unlocking an even deeper, more lasting state of flow? Chapter 7. The Productivity Paradox. Here's a paradox for you. Taking breaks actually makes you more productive. Sounds counterintuitive, right? You might be thinking, how can stepping away from my work possibly help me get more done? But that's exactly it. The secret isn't in working harder, it's in working smarter. When you're caught in the trap of thinking that more hours equals more output, you miss a crucial point. It's not about the number of hours you put in, but the quality of what you produce during those hours. You see, productivity isn't a matter of grinding it out until you're burned out. The key is maintaining high levels of focus, creativity, and energy, and the way to do that is through strategic pauses. Have you ever tried to power through fatigue, only to find that your work becomes less effective, your thoughts become clouded, and your creativity stalls? What if I told you that by taking a break, even just a short one, you could come back to your task with more clarity, more focus, and more energy? When you rest strategically, you allow your mind to recover and reset, making you more efficient in the long run. That's right, resting well can actually help you generate more value in less time. Think of it as giving your brain the fuel it needs to keep running at full capacity. Imagine this. Instead of working long hours that lead to diminishing returns, you focus on bursts of high-quality work, followed by short, intentional breaks. You'll be amazed at how much more you accomplish when you allow yourself to rest. It's about creating a rhythm where you work at your best, not at your longest. So, the next time you feel the pressure to keep pushing, ask yourself, is working harder really the best way to be productive? Or is it time to step back, recharge, and come back even stronger? Could it be that the most productive people are the ones who know when to rest, as much as when to work? Chapter 8. Digital detox without the drama. In a world where we're constantly plugged in, it can feel impossible to escape the flood of notifications, emails, and social media updates. We're always connected, always available, always scrolling. But here's a question. What if I told you that you don't have to completely abandon technology to protect your mental well-being? The secret isn't in going off the grid or swearing off your devices entirely. It's in strategic pauses, taking intentional breaks to disconnect, even for just a few minutes. Creating zones without technology is a game changer. Think about it. How often do you stop what you're doing just to check your phone because of a ping? It's about drawing boundaries that allow you to reclaim your attention, your energy, and your peace of mind. Those constant interruptions may seem harmless, but they slowly drain your mental energy and focus. Or do you treat rest like a strategy, something you actively design with intention and purpose? If you've been improvising your recovery, it's time to rethink your approach. Rest doesn't just happen by chance. It needs to be structured in a way that allows it to truly work. What if, by simply reducing your screen time in these strategic ways, you could experience better focus, improved mental clarity, and more meaningful connections with the world around you? Just like any well-planned project, your rest needs a foundation, and that foundation starts with your environment. Is your work environment conducive to focused, restorative work? Or is it cluttered, noisy, and draining? It's not about waiting for rest to happen. It's about actively building it into your life. What changes can you start making today to design a better, more effective rest routine? The right environment can make all the difference in how effectively you rest. Your energy skyrockets, your focus sharpens, and you find yourself accomplishing more than ever before. The best part? It looks effortless. People around you start to wonder how you're doing it, but they don't see the secret: your ability to rest as a way to fuel your performance, not just recover from it. A calming space, with the right lighting, temperature, and ambience, allows your body and mind to relax deeply, creating the conditions necessary for true recovery. What if your ability to rest became the thing that set you apart, made your work stand out, and allowed you to reach new heights without breaking a sweat? You've structured your environment, honed your routine, and implemented powerful pauses that keep your mind sharp and your body energized. And that makes you unstoppable. You've learned to rest in such a way that your mind and body are always primed to perform. While others struggle to keep up, pushing through exhaustion, you're operating on a different level, one that allows you to outpace, outsmart, and outlast the competition. Now, you're operating at full capacity, effortlessly moving through tasks, staying focused, and performing at your peak. You're not just working harder, you're working smarter. And here's the thing: when you're this well rested, your performance becomes extraordinary. What if you could practice a fast from notifications, letting your brain rest and recalibrate before diving back into your tasks? And intentional moments of relaxation can help you maximize your rest. Resting efficiently means that you operate at peak performance for longer periods of time. It's not about working until you're drained. It's about knowing exactly when to step back, recharge, and then return with even more energy and creativity than before. It's about creating habits that work for you, rather than waiting for moments of desperation to force you into rest. Imagine setting aside specific times during your day when your phone stays out of reach, when your laptop is closed, and when you can simply be present. Are you surrounded by individuals who encourage you to rest? Or do you find yourself constantly pressured to perform, even when your body is telling you to slow down? Building a network of support, where your need for rest is respected and understood, can significantly enhance your ability to recover. Without the constant pull of the digital world, do you have a space that nurtures recovery, a routine that encourages consistency, and a social circle that supports your need for rest? What if you could create a system that not only allows you to rest, but actively enhances the quality of your recovery? But it's not just about physical separation from devices. It's also about practicing notification fasting. So, how can you start creating these zones of calm in your digital life? And what would it feel like to take back control over your time and attention? Creating these tech-free zones, whether it's a designated time in the morning, during meals, or before bed, helps protect your mind from the overwhelming wave of digital noise. Now, imagine what it would feel like if you didn't have to check your phone every few minutes, or if you had dedicated moments each day when you're completely free from digital distractions. You don't need to abandon technology. You just need to use it with intention. Chapter 9. Building your rest architecture. When you think about rest, do you simply wait until you feel exhausted and then crash into bed, hoping for the best? Building an architecture of rest is about creating a supportive environment, a consistent routine, and a strong social network that all facilitate your recovery. Think about where you rest. Is your bedroom a peaceful sanctuary, free of distractions? Next comes routine. Consistency is key. Your body thrives on rhythm, so setting regular sleep patterns, designated break times. Finally, supporting rest socially is just as important. The people around you can have a huge impact on your recovery. Think about your life right now. Is your current architecture of rest working for you? The way you design your rest architecture, will determine how well you bounce back, how much energy you have, and how sustainable your performance will be. Chapter 10. Becoming dangerously well-rested. Imagine this: you've mastered the art of strategic rest. When you rest strategically, you're not just recovering from fatigue, you're recharging in a way that propels you to new levels of performance. What if you could perform at such a high level, without burning out, without the constant struggle to stay on top? In fact, your ability to rest so effectively becomes a competitive advantage. So, ask yourself, what would it feel like to become so well rested, so in tune with your body's need for recovery, that your performance becomes a force to be reckoned with? You've mastered the balance between work and rest. Now, you're not just performing at your best, you're dangerously well rested.